Okay, so you did how long ago was that? The podcast where you had Fantasy A on? What time
That
frame
was
was
in
that?
the ancient days of 2015.
So there was a short film first, right?
Yeah.
Describe that to us a little bit. What was the idea? Or when did you all decide? Okay, we need to do a movie, and he needs to be the star.
The second I met him, like within 10 minutes of meeting him, I was like, this guy's a movie star.
Fantasy A, the original short film is called Fantasy A Gets Jacked, and it's about Fantasy A getting robbed on his birthday, actually by the same Ramon and Xander robbed him on his birthday. We actually were in a panel today where we described it. Has anyone ever seen the movie Demons?
Yes.
Demons? There's Demons 1 where everyone dies, but then they all come back for Demons 2. And so the movie's kind of like the feature film is like that, where it's like the events of the first movie didn't happen. They have no memory of one another.
Okay, so the movie's also, well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So you do the short film, and then you realize, okay, this needs to be a feature. Was the short film the precursor? Was it proof of concept? Was it just a short to just get it going and then get to the feature, or was the
Not
feature?
at all. We had worked with a guy who we wrote a short film for him called Moron, and he was such an alcoholic that it took 2.5 years for him to finish editing. So we said, we must take our own journey and make our own future. And Fantasy A is our future. Fantasy A is your future. He said it to the mayor of Seattle.
How long have you been rapping?
Oh yes, it's a good question. I've been rapping since like 2009, and I became a public rapper 2014, and that's when I started releasing my own albums out and self-publish my own albums. And
Before he was a rapper, he was a novelist. And yeah.
before I became a musician and an actor, I'm also a self-published author. And what I hold with me is my autobiography book that I've written about my childhood and young adulthood called Life in the Eyes of an Autistic Person. That book's about my life in my childhood and young adulthood. And this is a memoir that my friends I here got that from to turn into a life feature film.
Tell them about the novel too.
And another novel, after this one, I wrote another book. It's called Life in the World of Gay Fables and Sensational Scholar. They're the ones I went to high school with as well. They wanted me to write a fiction book out of them. And they saved the world after that terrible windstorm hit Seattle that wiped out the entire male population except for female, and everyone loved reading that book. That's what that book's about. And I am a repopulated Vegas Tom. Yeah. Yeah. So I have 3 of these available with me, and we'll be at the front at the end of the Q&A as well, if y'all just want yours signed as well. So pass on to David.
There are so many lines from the memoir we wanted to use in the movie, but we couldn't find a place for. My favorites are, I have some problems, but not all of them. And
True.
I wanted to be good, but when I see bad things, I want to do them.
Yeah, that's like that. It's fun to do bad things. Where's Brent?
We used a lot from the novel also, because that novel is a piece of surrealist genius. I would recommend to anyone. Like the last line is "Ow my balls." So I mean,
No,
better than that.
No, you got it wrong. It's "Ow!" Tommy yelled. It went towards my nuts. Yelled Tommy.
I would say a tombstone punches him in the balls. So,
From the Gay Fables book. The Gay Fables Scholar book. It's available on Amazon.com, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, everyone should buy that. It's truly a work of genius, both the memoir and the novel. And you are the greatest living or dead Seattle author or Northwest author that has ever lived. I mean, this is not hyperbolic, people. These are amazing works of Kafkaesque fiction and real life.
not only that, he's also the biggest celebrity in Seattle. I'm like, no joke. Every time we film, some car, a dump truck, a school bus screeches to a halt because they go, oh my God, it's Fantasy A, I can't believe it. And just like everyone knows who he is. The mayor knows who he is. Sir Mix-a-Lot knows who he is. Sir Mix-a-Lot rented a theater.
This is Sir Mix-a-Lot approved, right? It's funny, funny AF.
Funny AF.
There we go. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Seattle. Okay, was there a script, or was it just kind of let this guy kind of roll with it?
Go ahead.
Interesting question. There is a script, but we have no memory of writing it.
That might be the most interesting answer to that question I've ever heard.
Think of it like bit at a time, so that way he didn't, construction workers didn't know he was creating a crazy murder machine. And so we actually didn't know what, that's how we did it. Because it was like these ways, because the whole movie is actually post-sync dubbed. We did all the audio later. So actually a lot of the lines we rewrote and had to fit their lips differently. Like when Asia Rose says, I need at least one friend to help me finish this music video. The original line was, I need your UFO pizza to help me finish this video. But that doesn't make any sense. So,
But the film was made with a budget of $3,800, 4 years of all of our lives, and probably my firstborn child. So, yeah.
Okay, so that was where I was going to go next in terms of how long it took you to finish it. It's very there's like a love letter to certain parts of Seattle as well. Was that always part of it? Did you just want to kind of document some areas? A lot of those places aren't there, right? Some of those areas are totally different now.
You know, some people call it a love letter to Seattle. Other people call it a poison pen letter. You get to decide. But one thing is for certain: you cannot ever visit that Seattle that you just watched unless you rewatch Fantasy A Gets A Mattress, because as of the Viet Hoa grocery fire, 90% of our locations no longer exist. We used to say 80%, now it's up to 90. So it is a time capsule and already a period piece.
all the locations were picked on the criteria that there'd be no trees, no water, chip paint, rust, broken cement, and chain link fence. And these are all the places where Fantasy 8 does all his videos. If he does a rap music video, he picks the weirdest spot to do it. And so, like, if it's the Aurora Bridge and and it's just nothing but like thunderous traffic, that's a good place to film.
So for Fantasy here, so when you're on camera, are you guys feeding lines or just kind of scenarios and letting him kind of run with it? What's that? I mean, are you getting direction, and what's it like to take the direction, and how do you translate that into the camera and just do your thing?
Well, I just gonna pay attention to where a direction goes, and I will stick with that. Stick with the good direction. They give me good direction, and it helps me.
He's also his acting coach.
And David Lewis is my acting coach, so that's how I go to that direction.
Meisner technique. It does wonders for film acting.
That's true. That's what David says.